Thomas Diaz Valenzuela. The garment factory. Labor-intensive light manufacturing characterizes industry in Chimerica, still a relatively small part of the economy. Our internal affairs minister will be here for us. The dictator's ouster, Diaz says carefully, has been purchased at the cost of considerable loss of investor confidence in the stability of our nation. We must take steps to calm fears that the new government will adopt radical, anti-business policies. I suggest, therefore, that labor agitators be handled firmly, so that we may regain the trust of our transnational partners. His proposal is to direct the police to keep union agitators from corrupting the workforce. Direct the police? Yep, and that's what our advisor says. Our advisor Francesco Rosero there, the dubious one I'm keeping my eye on. Our nation is passing through a dangerous, unstable period. Already severely rocked by the insurrection, the ship of state must not be allowed to capsize. Union agitation must be firmly controlled. Accept his proposal. Diaz nods. An economy is like an orchestra. The conductor is in charge, yes, but he must not tell the first violinist how to play his violin. We will watch your baton carefully, maestro, but we will play our instruments as they must be played. Rosario nods with approval. Well done, Your Excellency. A brilliant choice. A little brown noser. Banker. Let's see what the bankers say. See what how our financial reserves are doing. Under the personal control of Anastio Farsant until his overthrow, since then managed by the Chimerican government. Good day, President. Guazada greets you, a bit stiffly. Laudable as may be the humanitarian intentions that motivate our current lending priorities, I must advise that they make little economic sense. Many farmers will quite simply never be able to repay our loans, even on the generous terms we grant them. I know this. We must return to a focus on export crops if we are to maintain any degree of fiscal responsibility. Shift credit priority back to the experienced producers of export crops. Let's ask for advice. Shift credit. Not yet. I just want to give a few more farmers some more government money. Leaning back in his chair, Harold tilted to one side. Yes, I know they are difficult times. But while you weigh things in balance, be sure that you yourself are not found wanting. So where now? Coffee growers, guard leaders, trade union leaders. Let's see what the union leaders are up to. Food prices shot up 300% immediately after the insurrection. Periodic shortages continue to put upward pressure on prices, and probably continue to do so until people feel a little bit more comfortable. We'll continue this. Is this what we overthrew the dictator for? So that children could be hungry, and the voices raised in protest silenced with the barrel of a gun? You may try to douse the flames with your soldiers, President, but as long as one child goes hungry in this land, the ember of revolution burns. The fire in that one tortured belly will someday put the torch to your tightly controlled, privileged little world. My proposal? Set price controls for basic foods. And what about the businesses, my friend? What about them? They would all go broke trying to sell food at those prices. Bernardo, I agree with you again on this one. These are difficult times for the Chimerican economy, Your Excellency. It is a time for tightening the belt and sacrifice on the part of us all. It is not a time for wildly raising people's expectations, encouraging dreamers who believe that the clouds are made of cheese, and all we have to do is cut a piece off. We must hold firm, refusing to serve up any dangerous illusions. I accept your advice. Ferreira continues to scowl. So what should we do now? Really need to find a way to give back to the people some of the stuff that the previous government had taken. Let's talk to the landless laborers. A cotton-producing farm in a fertile valley. It provides seasonal employment for workers, many of whom also grow their own food on poorer lands in the nearby hills. President, all my father's life he farmed the fields you see around you. All my father's father's life he did the same. But what have I to leave my sons? 20 years ago the dictator took my land from me. This land belongs to Senor Thomas now, they said. He will grow cotton on it. You can work for him. Now I cannot even buy shoes for my sons. 20 years from now, the bank will own the land. And then who? Will we ever own our own land, Presidente? There are many like me. We know the soil, and we know how to grow corn and beans. to once again have enough good land to feed our children and to feed the nation. That's all that we ask. He wants us to announce plans to give power and wealth to the poor through a land reform program. Oh, Bernardo, what's your advice? Who will pick the cotton if all the workers are busy with their corn and beans? We must face facts here. The laborers are uneducated people with little knowledge of modern farming and management. The country needs to grow cotton and coffee to sell abroad, and agricultural workers are needed to pick them. To give these people control of the land we need for export crops would be economic suicide. Oh, Bernardo, I hate agreeing with you, but I do. Aguilar scowls. Do you know the Bible, President? In my base community, our young priest teaches us to read it carefully. There is a passage I like which goes something like this. And their houses shall be given to others, together with their fields. For all of them are greedy, from the poorest to the greatest. From the farmers even to the president, they all tell lies. Wise move, he butt kisses. In the first year of your presidency, the dry season ends and the rainy season begins. Apparently there's another riot. Thousands of angry laborers stream in from the countryside to fill the square in front of the National Palace, chanting, "Give us land now!" I'm not giving up the land. We have heard much talk about the reform of the land. This made us happy. I've never talked about land reform. At the long last, justice. But what has come of this, my president? The process is so slow, and we cannot wait forever. The land, salted with the sweat of our ancestors, belongs to those who have worked it for so long. We are tired of promises. We demand only what is rightfully ours. His proposal is to announce those plans. America does need the workers as they are. I'm with Bernard. Workers seize land throughout the cotton-producing districts, provoking violent clashes with owners. Thousands mass before the palace, demanding immediate title to seized land. What they'll end up doing is trashing the land so that nothing can grow there, and then they'll be hungry, jobless, and angry. The time for waiting is over, Aguilar says, waving his hand before we can speak. Once I had a deaf old mule. To make her notice me, I had to make much noise, beat her with a stick, and wave my arms like a madman. That is why we are here, below the windows of your palace, President Mule. He wants us to immediately grant land to the poor. We're going to return the land that's been seized and put the squatters on jail. There will be order in this land. Things will be worked out, but there will not be chaos in the meantime. Although the cotton-producing areas of Trinidad province, illiterate peasants seize land that does not belong to them. Such a direct assault on private property is a most serious threat to our nation's stability. I accept your proposal, Bernard, you devil. Aguilar scowls. Mothers of the disappeared. Hundreds of women dressed in black marched through the streets of the capital, carrying large crosses and banners reading, "Where are our children?" Spokeswoman for the mothers is Senora Gloria Mendoza Lerma. Mendoza speaks with the voice of quietly controlled fury. President, it has been a year since the guard took my daughter away. With my own ears I heard her screams as their van disappeared into the night. Since that moment my life is hell. Every night and dream she comes to me. "Mother," she asks, "does my murderer still walk the streets? Will the torturers ever be prosecuted, President? Many have not even been arrested. Can you at least force them to say where they buried our children?" Ask for advice. Do not reopen the wounds of the recent past. Ours is a small country, President. Your minister begins carefully. Here, if you don't know someone personally, still you might know his cousin, or maybe your brother went to school with him. Every one of any importance is related to everyone else. Undisciplined as they may have been, the Gardera are also members of our family. Francisco, you demon. I agree with you too. Mendoza looks at you sadly for a long time before speaking, and so the bells of morning shall ring again and again, until no one is left to mount the church steps one last time to ring them. Is this your wish, President? Is this your revolution? I hope someday someone shows you what revolution truly means. And how many would you have dead, Mother? How many would you have buried in unknown graves before it's all over with? That is more like it, says Rosario smoothly. Every parrot to his perch and every monkey tied to his rope. If we abandon our institutions and traditions, on what may we hope to build a stable future?